The Lord appeared to Abraham at the oaks of Mamre while he sat at the entrance of his tent in the day's heat. He looked up and suddenly saw 3 men standing near him. As soon as he saw them, he ran from his tent entrance to greet them and bowed deeply. He said, "Sirs, if you would be so kind, don't just pass by your servant. Let a little water be brought so you may wash your feet and refresh yourselves under the tree. Let me offer you a little bread so you will feel stronger, and after that you may leave your servant and go on your way, since you have visited your servant." They responded, "Fine. Just do as you've said." So Abraham hurried to Sarah at his tent and said, "Hurry, knead 3 sheaves of the finest flour and make some baked goods." Abraham ran to the cattle, took a healthy young calf, and gave it to the young servant, who prepared it quickly. Then Abraham took butter, milk, and the calf that had been prepared, put food in front of them, and stood under the tree near them as they ate. They said to him, "Where is your wife Sarah?" He said, "Right here in front of the tent." Then one of the men said, "I will definitely return to you about this time next year, when your wife Sarah will have a son." Sarah was listening at the tent door behind him. Now Abraham and Sarah were both very old. Sarah was no longer menstruating. So Sarah laughed to herself, thinking, "I'm no longer able to have children, and my husband's old." The Lord said to Abraham, "Why did Sarah laugh and say, 'Give me birth at my age'? Is anything too difficult for the Lord? When I return to you about this time next year, Sarah will have a son." Sarah lied and said, "I didn't laugh," because she was frightened. But he said, "No, you laughed." The men got up from there and went over to look down on Sodom. Abraham was walking along with them to send them off, when the Lord said, "Will I keep from Abraham what I'm about to do? Abraham will certainly become a great populous nation, and all the earth's nations will be blessed because of him. I have formed a relationship with him, so that he will instruct his children and his household after him, and they will keep to the Lord's path, being moral and just, so that the Lord can do for Abraham everything he said he would." Then the Lord said, "The cries of injustice from Sodom and Gomorrah are countless, and their sin is very serious. I will go down now to examine the cries of injustice that have reached me. Have they really done all this? If not, I want to know." The men turned away and walked towards Sodom, but Abraham remained standing in front of the Lord. Abraham approached and said, "Will you really sweep away the innocent with the guilty? What if there are 50 innocent people in the city? Will you really sweep it away and not save the place for the sake of the 50 innocent people in it? It's not like you to do this, killing the innocent with the guilty, as if there were no difference. It's not like you. Will the judge of all the earth not act justly?" The Lord said, "If I find 50 innocent people in the city of Sodom, I will save it because of them." Abraham responded, "Since I've already decided to speak with the Lord, even though I'm just soil and ash, what if there are 5 fewer innocent people than 50? Will you destroy the city over just 5? The Lord said, "If I find 45 there, I won't destroy it." Once again Abraham spoke, "What if 40 are there?" The Lord said, "For the sake of 40 I will do nothing." He said, "Don't be angry with me, my Lord, but let me speak. What if 30 are there?" The Lord said, "I won't do it if I find 30 there." Abraham said, "Since I've already decided to speak with my Lord, what if 20 are there?" The Lord said, "I won't do it for the sake of 20. Abraham said, "Don't be angry with me, my Lord, but let me speak just once more. What if there are 10? And the Lord said, "I will not destroy it because of those 10. When the Lord finished speaking with Abraham, he left, but Abraham stayed there in that place. The 2 messengers entered Sodom in the evening. Lot, who was sitting at the gate of Sodom, saw them, got up to greet them, and bowed low. He said, "Come to your servant's house, spend the night and wash your feet, then you can get up early and go on your way." But they said, "No, we will spend the night in the town square." He pleaded earnestly with them, so they went with him and entered his house. He made a big meal for them, even baking unleavened bread, and they ate. Before they went to bed, the men of the city of Sodom, everyone from the youngest to the oldest, surrounded the house, and called to Lot, "Where are the men who arrived tonight? Bring them out to us so that we may have sex with them." Lot went out towards the entrance, closed the door behind him and said, "My brothers, don't do such an evil thing. I've got 2 daughters who are virgins. Let me bring them out to you, and you may do with them whatever you wish, but don't do anything to these men, because they are now under the protection of my roof." They said, "Get out of the way," and they continued, "Does this immigrant want to judge us? Now we will hurt you more than we will hurt them." They pushed Lot back and came close to breaking down the door. The men inside reached out and pulled Lot back into the house with them and slammed the door. Then the messengers blinded the men near the entrance of the house, from the youngest to the oldest, so they groped around trying to find the entrance. The men said to Lot, "Who's still with you here? Take away from this place your sons-in-law, your sons, your daughters, and everyone else you have in the city, because we're about to destroy this place." The Lord has found the cries of injustice so serious that the Lord sent us to destroy it. Lot went to speak to his sons-in-law, married to his daughters, and said, "Get up and get out of this place, because the Lord is about to destroy the city." But his sons-in-law thought he was joking. When dawn broke, the messengers urged Lot, "Get up and take your wife and your 2 daughters who are here, so that you may not be swept away because of the evil in the city." He hesitated, but because the Lord intended to save him, the men grabbed him, his wife, and 2 daughters by the hand, took him out, and left him outside the city. After getting them out, the men said, "Save your lives, don't look back, and don't stay in the valley. Escape to the mountains, so that you are not swept away." But Lot said to them, "No, my lords, please. You have done me a favor, and have been so kind to save my life. But I can't escape to the mountains, since the catastrophe might overtake me there and I'd die. The city is close enough to flee to, and it's small. It's small, right? Let me escape here, and my life will be saved." He said to Lot, "I'll do this for you as well. I won't overthrow the city that you have described. Hurry, escape to it. I can't do anything until you get there." That's why the name of the city is Zoar. As the sun rose over the earth, Lot arrived in Zoar, and the Lord rained down burning asphalt from the skies onto Sodom and Gomorrah. The Lord destroyed these cities, the entire valley, everyone who lived in the cities, and all of the fertile land's vegetation. Then Lot's wife looked back. She turned into a pillar of salt. Abraham set out early for the place where he had stood with the Lord, and looked out over Sodom and Gomorrah and over the land of the valley. He saw the smoke from the land rise like the smoke from a kiln. When God destroyed the cities in the valley, God remembered Abraham and sent Lot away from the disaster that overtook the cities in which Lot had lived. Since Lot had become fearful of living in Zoar, he and his daughters headed up from Zoar and settled in the mountains, where he and his 2 daughters lived in a cave. The older daughter said to the younger, "Our father is old, and there are no men in the land to sleep with us as is the custom everywhere. Come on, let's give our father wine to drink, lie down with him, and we'll have children from our father." That night they served their father wine, and the older daughter went in and lay down with her father, without him noticing when she lay down or got up. The next day the older daughter said to the younger, "Since I lay down with our father last night, let's serve him wine tonight too, and you go on in and lie down with him, so that we will both have children from our father." They served their father wine that night also, and the younger daughter lay down with him, without him knowing when she lay down or got up. Both of Lot's daughters became pregnant by their father. The older daughter gave birth to a son and named him Moab. He is the ancestor of today's Moabites. The younger daughter also gave birth to a son and named him Ben-Ami. He is the ancestor of today's Ammonites.